we're a team that has really high highs and low lows. So maybe it's like a gamble to see if we play high. It's like it's a no-brainer. I think we can definitely win easily, but it's like I don't know how we're gonna play as a team on that specific day. So it's gonna be, I can't really predict it.
Welcome back to Game 2 between Cloud9 and Echo Fox. You hear from Keith there saying that Echo Fox, it's certainly a team that even themselves are kind of meme saying, you know what, it's a little inconsistent. I have to say for that game, actually felt relatively smooth.
It did. They have some really bright spots, but they had some really bad spots too. And that's kind of the thing. You need consistency, right? And that is at least one thing that Cloud9 did show us last game.
Certainly did. I mean, Frog and Zari looking good. If you want to talk about high points for the team, their defensive play was good, and Froggen himself, pick after pick, looked like it could save or even win the game for his team.
Yeah, I mean, Froggen, I think, especially in the later stages of the game, had a lot of picks, but he wasn't able to really get a massive lane advantage and take over the game you would have hoped, as he got so much help in the early stages. Ult after ult after ult, diving Jensen, and Jensen stayed relevant. Froggen didn't take over, but he did certainly give chances.
Yep, certainly looked good. On the other side for Cloud9, a strong mid-game lead, especially that they built up through really good map play, but just looked a bit hesitant to close out the game. I mean, individual play for all 10 players here looked very strong, but execution something we'll be looking at for both these teams.
Yeah, I think the thing with Cloud9 is just they felt a bit gun-shy, right? They're not willing to make any risky calls. They always wanted to look for the 100% win, and Echo Fox just wasn't giving it to them. They were playing smart enough around it that Cloud9 eventually would have to take some sort of risk, and it felt like they really never wanted to.
No, and that's kind of what separates a lot of good teams from great teams. Cloud9 still sitting atop the standings here, but if they want to hold on to that #1 spot, it needs to be a little bit more decisive. TSM from summer last year was a team that consistently made a decisive play, good or bad. Echo Fox feel like they might be fitting a similar vein. Cloud9 are very good at getting leads. Their individual talent across the board is insanely high. But if you want to win a championship, and that's kind of where we're looking to now that playoffs are somewhat on the horizon, Cloud9 need to just have a little bit more than just be good players and on a good team.
Yeah, I mean, you need that's something special, right? And TSM, I like that you brought that up. Bjergsen always talked about, he always went for the right call. When Doublelift came in, he was a guy who was able to bring them a little bit something different in the shot calling, going for the unexpected call, the thing that is a little bit riskier but has a big payoff, and sometimes you have to have the confidence to go for those. We'll see if they can.
On the thing for Echo Fox, consistency is something they want to find, because they can prove with a string of strong performances that they are a top 4 team, not even just a playoff team, because that feels like they're in contention. But if they want to prove they're a top team, they need to be really taking the fight to Cloud9. Did a good job in game 1. We'll see what happens here in the draft for game number 2. Shen and Malzahar banned by C9. Rengar and Varus banned for Echo Fox, so seeing a lot of champions that we did see in the last game, and also some of the bans kind of come out here in the first 6.
Yeah, a little bit of a change up there with the Shen, especially from Cloud9. They were willing to give that over second rotation to Echo Fox last time. We're not willing to do so this time. And definitely Looper was a little bit of a thorn in their side. They don't want to deal with the global presence.
Certainly don't, and LeBlanc also taken away. Again, a lot of these picks for Cloud9 side strike me as don't want to first pick them, but don't want to give them away on your on-blue side, so those all kind of make sense. We'll see what Echo Fox want to do with their last ban. We had a Jace ban from C9 as the last one in game 1. Echo Fox decided that Ryze is too good. We'll take that one away.
And so Jace, first pick, is available. They have a number of options here, though. As I've said, I don't think that there's a clear #1 that you must go for. We've seen teams first picking AD carries. We've seen them first picking junglers. We've seen them first picking a lot of stuff. Greaves does make quite a bit of sense. His contracts had a great performance on it last time. Deathless, I do believe, highest damage on his team. And Rengar's taken away, too.
Yep. Arcadian also excellent on Graves, so going to put all the pieces together, and Cloud9 will first pick Graves here. We'll see how Echo Fox respond. Again, the metagame is flattening out a bit as far as overall power goes, so these trades that you would normally have seen in this spot don't feel nearly as impactful. It's not like I'm trading 7.2 Camille, 7.3 Camille for like 2 other good champions. I'm now trading Graves for a couple of other champions, and it feels a little bit more even.
And there's a ton of options still for Arcadian. Not sure if he really is comfortable on Elise, but there's, okay, well, there's Nidalee, there's Elise, there's Kha'Zix, there's a ton of other champions, Lee Sin even, that are still pretty highly prioritized. I'm actually pretty surprised to see the Nidalee this highly prioritized for Arcadian. He has played it a couple times, but it has never really had a huge impact. It always feels like it's very difficult for Nidalee to get involved in the later stages of the game. These are very squishy, it's tough to dive in, and unless you're a lot ahead, you're kind of relegated to throwing spears and healing.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, Acadian able to play aggressive and get early leads with Nidalee, so it's a champion that suits his playstyle, and we've seen it already. Ash here is interesting from Echo Fox over something like Jin, which could be considered the best AD carry available once Varus is banned away. Sneaky happy to take you here, and now Cloud9 are going to pick something else and see how Echo Fox respond, because one of the cool things about this phase is that you kind of trade like, hey, here's my reaction to your pick, and then here's my pick. How are you responding to this?
It certainly is. The Ashe, one thing to be said for it is that it has a stronger laning phase generally than the Jhin. I think it's much easier to participate in the fights on that Ashe than it is on something like a Sivir. You simply throw your ultimate, you can be spamming out volleys even if you don't feel safe to auto attack. So it's pretty easy for Keith to still be involved on this play.
And I think if Echo Fox do want to string together some strong team fighting, and they built a lot of that for themselves in game one, that makes sense here. Did a Rumble pick for Impact, I assume, so that'll be their top laner. But Karma, high priority here for Echo Fox, will complete the bottom lane. So again, we'll have a mismatch in this first phase, and now support bans start coming out for Echo Fox.
Yeah, a lot of priority on the bot lane, and now they're even banning away the support that Smoothie used to kind of even it out through that threat of playmaking ability. So they're going to have Karma, they're going to have Ashe, and they should be able to shove in Jhin pretty easily unless Smoothie can get something to mix that up.
Well, there's Camille banned actually for Cloud9, so again, targeting top lane. They already know that Rumble will be Impact will be taking Rumble, excuse me, so want to set up that lane as best they can. But I'm expecting a bottom lane centric ban for Echo Fox, but maybe they want to tag a champion from Jensen. Hard to say just yet. We'll give them 10 seconds to see where they want to go with it.
One thing I do wonder a little bit about is the fact that Cloud9 both banned Shen and picked Rumble. I feel like if you're willing to pick Rumble, you should be willing to go into a Shen. Yes, it still has the global presence, which can be frustrating, but it's such a good lane matchup that you're almost like banning out the champion you want to counter.
Yeah, a little strange there for Cloud9, putting a lot of priority on top lane as Talon was the ban for Echo Fox. I know that it's a champion that's been rising up in other regions. Had a quick chat to Jensen this morning. He said, you know, I've been practicing it here and there. I think a lot of the mid laners will have their eyes on that assassin. And there's a Cassiopeia ban from Cloud9. So kind of weird to see two mid lane bans as the last one. So we'll see what Echo Fox does here in the first pick for phase 2.
I mean, last draft there was so much mid lane focus. So many of those big ticket picks were banned away from Jensen and Froggen. They both had quite solid games. I mean, Froggen obviously the standout there. And Gnar, we saw this in the EULCS, it was brought back. A lot of people feel like with some of the nerfs to other champions, plus the buffs to Fervor, that's something that Gnar loves to play with, that he can be pretty successful up there.
Yeah, I mean, Gnar, a champion we saw a ton of last year. So curious to see how Lupa does with that champion. Certainly a champion he has plenty of experience on. As Cloud9 maybe locking in Jace here. They do have to finish off their team comp, looking for a mid laner and a support by the looks of things. Have pretty good information. Happy to blind pick Jace here for Jensen. We'll see what Smoothie wants best Karma.
It's interesting that Corki has kind of just fallen off a cliff. You know, Corki was picked so much in the last patch, and even though the nerfs didn't seem that massive, obviously they have been very impactful, and no one is really willing to pick it. It was getting first rounded. It was always the, oh, that's what you pick when you blind pick your mid lane. But now, haven't seen it at all, 7.4.
Yeah, a little interesting. Kind of curious to see how that worked out, as Tom Kent's actually the pick here for Smoothie. Always good into the Ashe. Lane matchup's going to be tough, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough lane matchup. You can threaten the all-in, though. That is the one thing I think people really underestimate about Tahm Kench. People always talk about how bad his laning is, but they're forgetting the fact that this guy can flash on you. If he hits a Q, he flashes on you, he exhausts you, he will be able to get back in range, get the 3 stacks, and set himself up, right? So the gank pressure is there, especially when followed by a Jhin root.
Certainly like it, but there's a Nivea for Froggen, so we go through all this song and dance to give Froggen the counter pick, only to see a Nivea once again. Which is always strange to me, because I feel like Froggen would play this into almost anything.
Yeah, he would, but I mean, obviously he feels like it's more advantageous for them to last pick this than it is for them to last pick something else, right? The top lane was already shown earlier, so why would you save that for last, right? You've already shown your bot lane and your jungle, so there's no reason to save anything except the mid lane for last, just in case there's something crazy that comes out, right? Even if you don't always get the counter pick, it still is the most intelligent choice in this setup.
I just feel like there's this elaborate setup, you know, Froggen's like reading the runes, he's kind of going through everything, they're going through the draft notebook,
Seeing all the
and
numbers,
he's like,
beautiful mind style.
a Nivea.
Yeah, the equation always comes out, a Nivea.
Well, Froggen's certainly shown up on unconventional picks before. He's already looked great in the last game. We'll see how Nivea looks here in this one. Coach is going to shake hands, and we'll get ourselves primed and ready for our second game between Cloud9 and Echo Fox. I'm not sure Cloud9 wanted this much resistance coming into their first series back, but Echo Fox put up a real fight in the first one. We'll see if they can equalize it and bring our series to a third game.
A lot of attention for me going to be on Acadian this game. You know, he wants to bounce back from last week's performance on the Nidalee here. I think it may be tough for him to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the way the draft worked out for junglers, I feel like Cloud9 had a pretty straightforward pick of Graves with Rengar being banned away. So we'll see if Acadian can play.
The Gnar plushies.
Perfect timing.
That guy is super happy right now. He's like, I can't believe it. I got 2 of them, and there's another one on the screen. That makes 3.
That's so many Gnars. Well, we'll see what happens here in this one. Cloud9 vs Echo Fox, round 2. Cloud9 up a game here in the series. We'll see if they can complete the sweep, but certainly games don't get any easier in this half of the season. Cloud9 have FlyQuest to play again this weekend, and the wins always matter, but the back end of the season, if Cloud9 are looking to retain first, they just need to win out as much as possible, because not dropping first throughout the regular season would be impressive from them.
It really would, and that's certainly what they're looking to do. They're trying to get better and better, and with the fall of TSM and C9 getting better with the addition of contracts, people felt like this is their time, right? This is the year for C9 to come and return back to their former glory, and they're going to have to stay on track.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Everyone, once again, just kind of fanning out, seeing what they can see. Contracts hiding in that pixel brush. Everybody loves to hang out there. Impact doing circles with him as well. Just Flame speedering away. And I believe that's Dino now, so plushies looking even better now.
Minions have spawned.
I don't know, not quite the skin.
It's a good one. That was very adorable. And then it kills you. You're like, don't like it as much as I thought I did. You see Smoothie taking some volleys there from Keith. Definitely curious to see what the 2v2 looks like in this game. I mean, Keith and Gate didn't fall too far behind, but definitely pressure advantage was there for Sneaky and Smoothie.
I mean, what it should look like is Echo Fox pushing in C9 very heavily and getting an advantage as long as they don't get ganked, right? And as long as they don't overstep. They need to be very cognizant of where their opponents are, of trying to take away those gank paths and playing it safely. Because if they shove to their opponent's turret, Jin and TK have incredible gank assist.
Kind of curious there from Cloud9 trying to steal away a Raptor camp, or at least some of them, but kind of leashes it for free for Arcadian. Well, split the experience and contracts to go start his jungle route, but don't mind the invade attempt, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Graves and Rumble have such good AoE that they're thinking, hey, we can zip in, and as long as we're not spotted, we will be able to grab this up very quickly. So they didn't actually notice the trinket ward that was in the river, and that is what gave it away to Echo Fox and made it look a little silly. Otherwise, you're probably sitting here thinking, hey, that's pretty smart.
Well, good reaction there from Echo Fox. As Gate already throwing out the poke. Smoothie just doing what he can, trying to help out with the CSing with the Targons. And Jensen already getting aggressive. Jace is a champion that has very good lane matchups.
Yeah, he really does, especially when you have the minion advantage. Because if you shove in your opponents under the turret, there's no minions to block the shock blast, and you can get those clear empowered shock blasts. That's when you can really poke people out and start to take hold.
Well, we'll see how Froggen navigates another different Anivia matchup for him. I think by the end of the season, Froggen would have played a rather curious spread of matchups of X versus Anivia, but no stranger getting pushed in here. Should last hit those just fine. Smoothie goes a little wide on the Q. But again, this is kind of where Cloud9 expect to be in this bottom lane. Keith and Gate really just want to push in and kind of back away safely and try and, I guess, hope that Sneaky misses some of the CS awkwardly under turret.
Yeah, and if they do get poked out too much, then that is something where you can look to set up dives, you can look to make plays around that. But they're always going to have good warding, and I think that's something that Acadian wants to help them out with here, to keep them safe, to allow them to push. So that's a lot of what the job is for the Nidalee this game. Get inside the jungle, ward it out, pressure the Graves so that your bot lane can have free reign.
Acadian actually looking for an invade here. Was spotted on this side, but takes the big Raptor away nice and quickly. Nidalee so fast through the jungle. His contract wants to get some back. Does get most of the little ones, but Acadian took the big camp out already.
And it's just the information that they get, right? Look at all the damage that C9 is taking here. As long as Echo Fox don't make the mistake, but that right there, that is something that can get turned around. Not with this big of a minion wave, but if you get rooted up, the CC chain can come out and you can go down.
Gate and Keith played a little more conservatively, but looks good there as it's continually applying pressure. Almost 10 CS ahead, so that's looking good as Contracts might fancy a gank, but a nice ward there is going to spot him coming through behind mid lane. And Froggen Definitely knows how to play safe in kind of every situation.
I mean, Sneaky and Smoothie are out of pots. They're going to have to base probably after this wave, if not before. And that's definitely a tough spot to be in. They're going to lose quite a bit of experience. They're going to lose some CS here. And they're not going to be too happy about that.
Contract's trying another invade, but Arcadian already finished the camp. So Contract's feeling a little...
Flash was forced on gate.
Probably got caught under the turret.
My guess is he actually had to flash a Jin route there. That's something that can happen pretty easily. As I said, you have to respect the potential of the all-in. Even though you have the pressure, it can get turned around on you. But they are heavily ahead in that farm right now and looking good.
Yeah, I mean, Sneaky's going to stay here and clean up the rest of the CS, but Smoothie's already gone back. Sneaky's sticking around, but it's a little dangerous here if he goes too far forward. Gate goes back, though. Risky play from Sneaky, but it's going to pay off there.
The wrap around.
Impact and Contract's looking for Looper. He's about to wear off Meganar. Doesn't have a hop right now. Good wallop, gets both. And then crunches out to safety. Going to be mini-bomb, gets a bit of extra speed there from Auto Hyper. And Looper almost turned that around in a 1v2.
Yeah, that was actually really nicely played there from Looper. Does not have to blow the flash or anything. Chunks out the enemy jungler. This gives Acadian some confidence to go in, and now we're going to see how that flash...
Yep.
Yeah, okay, it's the root. So there you go. He had to flash the root. As expected, under the turret, had to flash it. You cannot risk the threat of that.
And now Keith's going to go back with a CS lead and a BF sword. So things looking good there. Sneaky's sticking around for quite a long time. Gives Smoothie some room to go. Roaming is actually towards the mid lane, but so is Arcadian.
Well, Acadian is behind Jensen. We know how much they picked on him last game. Here they come.
Gate's here as well, trying to kind of corral him around. Arcadian going to move in.
Nice
Good thundering blow from Jensen into the turret there as well, but he's out of mana. Very nearly got a kill.
So well played from Jensen. Just even the fact that he doesn't have to blow summoners is a big win for him there. Knocking Acadian out of the leap, keeps himself safe, almost turns around a kill.
Jensen, again, sticking around. Both mid laners low on mana, so Jay's feeling like he can probably push a little harder, given he's AD-based. Contracts and Smoothie still around the area as Impact goes back, buys himself a Haunting, guys. Grabs the refillable and probably going to TP back to lane here. Looper looks like he's already gone back as well, and 20 CS up for Impact in the top lane. He's quietly crept up to a nice advantage.
Yeah, that's pretty big, especially when you think about the fact that he started with a Ruby Crystal. This was not even a Doran Shield, which would be kind of the preferable laning item. So he's able to get away with that. No disadvantage, gets very quickly to that Haunting, guys. Nice start.
Impact walks up as well. Now Loop is the one caught without a teleport, as he did get himself back to lane. So we'll see if he can do something with that Rumble ultimate. Perhaps if Cloud9 want to make an early play for the Infernal Drake, say, it is the first Drake that spawned here. Sneaky though, feeling a little bit better. Gonna try and play catch up on CS, and Gate and Keith should be back to their old.
This is a flashless Gate, remember. If they go too far forward now that Sneaky and Smoothie, yes, they are behind, but with no flash on the summoner, if the wave is not a big wave, and they don't get poked down too much like they're doing right now, they can look to turn.
Keith has ulti as well, so he's really laying into Smoothie. He's only level 4. Some desyncing on the experience there. Sneaky 6 as well for a potential play, but there's no jungler intervention right now. Keith does eat a pretty healthy amount of damage from that dancing grenade. So it should be okay apart from that. Like you said, very tense for a potential all-in, but yeah. Keith and Gate staying strong. Jensen going to go ahead and take the blue buff for himself and continue trying to bully the lane as much as he can. Froggen, though, has kept up nicely in CS, so no real lead there, as Anivia with ultimate's pretty good at reversing the waves in mid very quickly. Now Froggen might even fancy getting some vision down, eat some honey for it, and maybe can look for roams as well.
It's interesting that Froggen didn't go tier this game, actually. I wonder if he'll pick up a late tier or if he's just going to try to play it with Roa or perhaps Roa Morellos, things like this. Because Anivia is so mana hungry, you typically see people go double mana items. Although this build does give you more combat power faster as you get to the Roa and you build into more AP. Sometimes you can just go boom.
Yeah, Looper Meganar was a really good timing on a gank from Arcadian sneaking in, but now not nearly as much threat. I mean, Impact's very far up here, but Arcadian just doesn't even fancy some harass. He's going to leave Looper in the lane by himself.
Yeah, it's tough to show topside for a harass like that. I think if that's mid lane or if that's spot lane, you do it. But with an Infernal Dragon on the table, do you really want to show to poke him a little bit when that might mean Graves is doing the Dragon immediately?
Don't think so. So Arcadian smartly backs away and they'll move back towards the bottom half of the map. Sneaky low again. But they're still playing confidently, and now Contracts is going to come down. Maybe the low health bars will be a bait for Echo Fox's duo lane.
It could be, but I mean, if Acadian is here too, they are very low, and it certainly would be heavily in the favor of Echo Fox unless Acadian face checks here.
He's going to face check. Q's going to land in. Contracts with a big amount of damage already. Acadian has to get over the wall. The Jinwoo's a little early, but now the ulti's going to move in. Contract flashes in for the vision. First blood goes to Contract, and now he's on the Drake.
Just transitions perfectly into that dragon. Actually pretty comical. Grabs himself the first blood. Looking for this, but Keith and Gate want to get the return kill here. Will they get the angle on Sneaky? They're looking for it.
Keith fires, finds Sneaky. Great pickup from Smoothie.
I like how he autos a creep before he does that after sitting in the bush. Not the best, but Jensen in some trouble here. May have to flash out.
Rogan's got blue buff, so he's going to keep moving for it. Jensen, though, has his summoners up, so it does flash away as soon as he hears the ultimate sound.
Yeah. And I mean, to be even more safe, you might have wanted to flash before that chill does land. And this is just Acadian face checking into the graves. Always the risk you run when you're trying to maintain that vision control. And we talked about what he's trying to do. He's trying to keep the bot lane safe to be able to continue bullying, but he does end up getting punished. It's not only the first blood, easy transition into the Inferno.
Flawless there for Contract.
Oh, Jensen has no flash.
Stuck around, but he's here with Smoothie, and I assume Sneaky there. Oh, that's Contracts. Never mind. That'll do. Flash Q there from Smoothie. Going to slow down Froggen. There's the exhaust down as well. Now he's going to Glacial Storm, but a root from Jin's going to spell disaster.
Yeah,
Tom Kench looking a little hungry. He's going to make an omelet. Jensen's going to get the kill.
That flash is way too much from Froggen. He was going nowhere. You're flashing into your opponent's Raptor buff to try to escape. All he accomplishes with that is an easier return gank for the other team.
Well, I'll take it. And that next kill does go to Jensen, so mid-jungle duo looking good early on for Cloud9. Echo Fox kind of struggling to get things off the ground in the early game, but they didn't have a huge lead with the kills that they got in the early game, and they still managed to play well in game one. So for once, I'm not too concerned that Echo Fox aren't roaring out of the gates immediately.
No, there's no reason to be too concerned, but certainly the fact that they had kind of this really tough bot lane and aren't massively behind, and the fact that Nidalee, in my opinion, is more powerful in the early game. You have the speed clear and stuff. It's harder to get involved later. And that is more what's concerning.
Impact actually waits it out. Good ultimate there as Contract's not coming in for the 2v2. Lupa forced to flash away. And Impact has really been crushing this lane. 35 CS ahead right now. Might even just try and take this turret.
Yeah, I mean, Looper is very low there. They will be able to defend with the Nidalee. Too risky of a dive without Equalizer available. But still, nicely played from Cloud9. Contract's in position to support his top laner as he needs to push in the wave. That is very good play.
And Jensen and Froggen just farming back and forth. Froggen does have that Rod of Ages completed. No tier just yet. Feel like connection might not be there at all. And yeah, Keith knows he has to be careful. In fact, they're going to open up. Gate could be the target. Heal's already used. Smoothie pretty tanky, and Echo Fox going to TP in. Smoothie getting one down. That could be a kill. Not quite enough, and Froggen makes it down. Good flash from Sneaky. Not going to get himself arrowed, and Froggen chases a little bit further, but not too far. Oh, great snipe! And immediately the sweep, and is like, yep, I was on a ward.
Sneaky makes it the 1-for-1. Froggen TP bot. We'll see if they can get anything more here. They want to continue to pressure, but Jensen and Contracts roaming down here. Remember, this is a flashless Froggen. He's likely going to be having tough times getting out of this one.
Oh, Contract zips through the wall. Froggen no egg either. Keith not going to get snared up, but Froggen turns it around. Contracts just a little too far forward, although Jensen looks for the all-in. Needs Froggen, gets the kill, and that'll be a trade.
Jensen is able to pick it up, but another TP coming in. Will Impact match? Yes, but very late.
Yeah, Cadian's here as well, and that's 3v1 for Jensen right now. He exhausts down, he tries to get Looper. Sneaky might be able to get the shot down he needs. There's going to be the return kill. Impact, no ultimate though. Not able to turn that play around.
Yeah, Impact TPing in very late without the ult. Pretty far back in lane 2. But they do get another kill. They keep them safe, and the ultimate is available for Impact now.
Cloud9 though, just going to back off. Nothing really to take here. So Keith will clear out the rest of the minions. And pretty interesting reaction there for both sides down towards the bottom lane. Even trades across the board as far as kills goes. We'll watch the situation again.
Yeah, this is the danger that you run. Dashing into the Anivia ultimate. Froggen lands the full combo. Contract's not tanky at all at this stage in the game. Will go down, but then the flashless Froggen should have been able to get out of that one if he hadn't wasted his flash earlier. Will go down in the trade kill, and now the TP's Looper is already here, but does not land enough damage to take Sneaky out, thanks to the exhaust coming in, and with Impact arriving, it's got to be a back off, so ends up being a pretty even trade.
Yeah. Lupa, really nice TP, but EchoVox can't get too much more out of the play. Jensen, though, starting to push the waves in and roam around. Serrated Dirk done. Ghostblade also finished, so he's doing a lot of damage to these targets with no armor at this point. And Mininar is awfully squishy.
He is, and Equalizer's here, and so is Jace.
Impact gonna look in for it. Just need to snipe. That's an easy kill for Jensen.
Nicely played, not even wasting that Equalizer there. They're going to be able to have that for later. Now level 11 with the double spell pen items. That is kind of the big power point people like to talk about on the Rumble. You really can put out huge amounts of damage now, and they could actually look to dive this Nidalee. Contracts quickly moving up to the top side if he stays around.
Nice awareness from Cloud9. Contracts just got spotted, but he's going to try and chase down Arcadian. Equalizer there for the slow red buffs here as well for Contract. Just needs a little bit more from the ultimate. Great. Going to dive in to try and get it down. He wants it so bad. Great cancel.
Nice. That was perfectly done with the ultimate animation cancel there. You can't even see the ultimate dashing and gets the instant auto after. Great mechanics from Contracts, chasing down Katie and getting that kill.
First turret going to go over to Cloud9 as well. Impact going to collect the lion's share of the extra gold. Jensen doesn't dodge that stun. Froggy going to poke him down. Ghostblade in, gets walled back.
Oh, here comes Keith looking for the arrow.
Arrow's good. Hits Jensen. Now Froggen, can he get the follow-up? Needs to slow it down. The stun is good. Chill's going to be there, but Sneaky and Smoothie going to try and turn it around. Gate flashes in at Smoothie. Flash scoops up Sneaky to get him out of the way. Great health is there, but Froggen's going to cut them off with the wall. Smoothie just can't get through it all. He's going to go down to keep it. Now Sneaky wants to turn it around. There's the second shot. Third is in, and Contract's still going to leap forward. Out of bullets for Jin, though. And that should be the rest of that play.
Nice play there from EchoFox, and Smoothie and Sneaky come in, but they didn't really want to be there. And EchoFox got another kill.
Yeah, Froggen playing a little too far forward. EchoFox don't want to overextend on the play, and they will back off. Sneaky going to clean out the rest of these minions with a bit of extra help from Contracts.
And here it is, the face check. Froggen plays so well around vision in the mid lane. I love to talk about this every time I watch this guy play. It feels like at least a couple times every single game, he will find these sorts of picks. He's kind of famous for playing in these mid lane side bushes. Right here, he always has it pink warded, controls vision, gets picks with the Anivia stun and wall. It's very, very effective. So very well played from Froggen as per usual. And the bot lane of EchoFox is working out quite well this game. Keith is off to the races a little bit. 2-0-3, up quite a bit in CS. Good sign for EchoFox.
Yeah, he's approaching kind of the first power point for Ashe. Got the Rune and Hurricane, so that's going to accelerate some of the farm, but you really want 2 items to get things going as Ashe, and it does get better from there. Sneaky is actually going more lethality this time as well, so maybe he feels like he needs to have a bit more impact in the early game. For A, because he's behind, but B, because he's going to get a little outscaled as well.
And I mean, the Edge of Night is still a strong item. It's just not maybe always the right item, which is, I think, a good change.
Seems good against Ashe and Nivea at all.
Yeah.
C9 going to try and take the Infernal. Drake does go over. Contract smites it. Lupa here, though. He's already mega big ulti. Gets 3 on the scoop, and Sneaky's blocked down as well. Keith also fighting into Contracts. He's dived in there. Now Smoothie going to go down as well. 2 clean kills for EchoFox.
EchoFox playing that team fight so much better. Impact with... He just tagged a support with the tag of the ultimate. Are looking to turn it around, though.
Lupa going to block this. Last shot. No one in sight. Stun onto Impact as well. Froggen might even turn it around more. He flashes in for the chill. Doesn't quite get the kill. DFT's going to burn him down, but Scrap Shield keeps Impact healthy.
That is risky stuff. They do get the passive out of Anivia. Not able to get any more, though, and it does cost Impact his flash as well as Keith grabbing that bot lane turret.
Well, nice little trade there for EchoFox, starting to feel like still play these moments and execute well, but not overextending nearly as much as Sneaky. Takes the big raptor from Arcadian. He does have his smite up, so he'll be happy for a bit of extra gold.
No, Sneaky face check.
Oh, another face check from Sneaky. Has to flash up, but the root's still going to land in. Gate might finish us off on his own. Just needs to land another Q. Arcadian already down, and Gate doesn't quite get it. Jensen going to get eaten up, and there's a triple kill for Jensen.
That got turned around so hard. Gate actually popped his mantra after he'd already used his Q, so he didn't have the cooldown to use the spell. Then as it comes back up, Smoothie eats Sneaky, keeps him out of safety there. Does stay alive, and as you can watch here again, Sneaky with the face check, and then the mantra comes up. He does pop it, doesn't have his Q now, and by the time it comes back up, there it is. Dodge is out, nicely played there by Smoothie, and a huge turnaround. That Jace now has 6 kills.
Yeah, 6-2-2 for Jensen. Building swiftly towards the Edge of Night. Gonna try and take down a turret as well. Contract's backing onto Froggen, but here's Sneaky and Smoothie again. Oh, the Tinder catches him. Contract actually snipes him out of the air.
This is interesting. Sneaky has actually gone back to the BF sword. He could be going to the IE anyway, and it may have just been something where the gold he based with was enough for some of that armor pen.
Good arrow by Keith. Impact still chasing. Oh my god.
Keith, why did you stay? You were fine.
Well, Cadian gets the trade, but that was a lot of damage. And Cloud9, again, still up on tempo, going to take this out of turret as well. Echo Fox starting to see a little bit of that sloppiness again. They were making good picks and good trades, but now Cloud9 going to take everything.
Yeah, the cracks are definitely starting to show. They had a great play around Dragon. They reach for more. They get punished. They lose 2 turrets. They lose a kill. And it is starting to feel a little bit rough as they're falling behind, and it's double Infernal on Cloud9,
yeah.
Which just makes it even worse since it is a 4 damage comp, right? Even the jungler, even the top laner getting a lot out of that bonus ADAP.
And Edge of Night now done for Jensen, so that poke's going to look good. Black Cleaver pretty far through as well. He also picks up cooldown boots. So Jace is one of those champions that is very strong at 2 to 3 items. Jensen will have his highest point power-wise in the game right now. We'll see if Cloud9 can abuse that power to grow their lead further. But if they get that lead, can they make it look a little cleaner than the first game? Because you have to think that the one big thing you tell Cloud9 between games 1 and 2 is you guys had it, just play a little more decisively.
Yeah, certainly. And I think they will have to with this kind of composition because they don't have a tank to really buffer themselves into the late game. So if it does stall out, it could look pretty bad for them. The CPR boots are interesting on Jace, though. It does feel a little bit greedy against a team Anivia stun. All the stuns from Gnar, Ash Arrow. He's not building a QSS. He doesn't have cleanse. So if he does get tagged, although he has a ton of gold on him right now, he could go down very easily.
He's pushing sideways out right now, so Cloud9 doing their preparation, trying to snowball this mid-game advantage they have. You can see already up almost 5,000 gold. And this a little bit of poke on the gate takes 40% of his health or so.
Just a little.
Not bad.
A little smidgen of poke there.
Pulls out from Sneaky. Equalizer also trying to attack him. There's 2 carries. Froggen going to take the last bullet, but doesn't go down. Pretty tanky with the Rod of Ages. Cloud9 now going to collapse on this mid-tier 2 turret.
Impact has not really been on point with his ultimates this game. To be fair, they don't have the CC to set him up. It's not like they're playing, Nautilus Rumble with support or any sort of CC to set him up for it. So he just kind of have to throw them out. But he has had a lot more whiffs than hits with his equalizers this game.
We'll say the other abilities, though, looking good for Impact.
Yep.
Played well in lane, has a big CS lead. Has been with his team grouping and dealing out damage from kind of that melee range. So
definitely still having a really good game for himself, but the equalizer, as we know, is so important, and there's a lot of focus on it from both sides.
yeah, I mean, it's the defining part of Rumble's kit, and he's a very unique champion. So see if Impact can kind of sharpen that accuracy. Cloud9, though, again, not yet going to force down another turret. Impact actually has to tend to a wave in the bottom lane, so he'll take that one down. Contract's going to go back. And Echo Fox sticking together, knowing that getting picked off is a very easy possibility for Cloud9, given all the poke and pick built into this comp.
Yeah. Looper is honestly kind of struggling here.
Yeah.
When you look at his item purchases and stuff, it's 23 minutes into the game. He doesn't have a completed item. He has a Hex Drinker, but still, that's a component. He doesn't even have anything finished. He's kind of building a little bit all over the place. And when you go those routes, you tend to be very, very weak.
And that's how he's feeling right now. I mean, down a huge hole in CS as well. Impact is closing in on 80 or so. Might even make it 100 by the time the game's ended. And a nice control word onto Barry means that Cloud9 are fully aware of the things they want to be playing around. In fact, 10 seconds until the next Drake. They're going to rotate down, try and take this mountain.
It kind of feels like Looper was thinking, hey, I'm going to go Frozen Mallet. Ooh, maybe I'm too far behind. He may just be building into full tank, kind of opting out of any sort of damage build at this point, which could be smart given that they do have 380 carries on Cloud9.
Oh, good equalizer. Contract splashes straight in for it. Jin going to chase them down. Gates eating a lot of damage, splashes out of the way. Now Looper going to get burnt down. He's just not that tanky. Snared up by the Jin. Does get the ulti down, but it only gets Impact, who's Zonnies this through everything. Smoothie going to scoop him up as the arrow goes wide. Contract nails a double as he snipes out Gate with his ultimate. And now Jensen just straight in for the play on a rampage. Takes down Keith.
And C9 is not going to stop there. They're going to continue to push in here. Anivia will get zoned off. They will get the inhibitor 24 minutes in.
Much more decisive from Cloud9. They break straight through the middle and take down the inhibitor. Froggen.
Have to remember, this is how last game looked. They got 2 inhibitors right around this time last game, Now from here, they have a great gold lead. They have an aggressive team composition. They need to be able to close out, but it was a good engage from Cloud9. Use the equalizer to slow them down. The Jhin ulti is very disruptive. And Echo Fox is just in full retreat because they didn't have Frog in there from the start. Not much they can really do once that fight has already started. Jensen's so strong at this point, could just go straight in.
Yep, Smoothie helps him with the dive. Jensen flashes out. Cloud9 secure the Mountain Drake with it all told. Suddenly 8,000 gold ahead. Arcadian's going to take a pretty crucial Scuttle Crab, giving them a little bit of bonus vision around the Baron. Clear the controller out as well, but Cloud9's next point of attack is pretty obvious. They're going to run towards the Baron now.
Yeah, exactly. You can pressure that. This is not the key inhibitor to kind of go for Baron. Obviously, the bot lane one is the best because that is so far away. Whereas you can clear out the mini waves in mid lane pretty easy and still get by that Baron. But Cloud9 definitely has a lot of options on the table. Step one is controlling vision. Maintain vision around the Baron. Push that vision up into your opponent's jungle on this side of the map, then start to threaten top side, and you can rotate from the top side to the Baron back and forth once you know that that is clear of vision.
And you can see Cloud9 very methodical here, doing it all together as a team, even going to pressure the top tier 2 and create more space for themselves on this side of the map.
Yeah,
Cloud9
force out the TP from Looper, or take the turn for free.
Oh, gonna kill! Equalizer again! Contract's just on a rampage! Sneaky snipes a second kill. It's just too much poke from Cloud9.
Oh, I mean, the Jace in combination with the Graves ult there and the Jhin, they don't even have to set up for Baron. They can just walk right in. And with super minions in the mid lane, they could actually just go for the end right now.
Might try for it. Should at least get pressure down. Smoothie busy tanking Nexus turrets. The contract zooms in. There's one Nexus turret. Echo Fox. Do they have time to even defend this next one? 15 seconds on both Arcadian and Keith. And the pokes just keeps coming.
Yeah, the minions are still there. Cloud9 can just walk right in. This turret is gone.
Yeah,
this game is gone.
Looks like the game's absolutely gone. Impact burns down one. Jensen just trying to pad some stats, zone the rest of them out. The Nexus exposed, and in just under 27 minutes, Cloud9 complete the sweep.
How is that for decisive? Cloud9 smashed Echo Fox in game 2. They get the big lead, and they close this one out.
Strong looking stuff there for C9, we said. The lead you built was good, didn't execute quite as cleanly in game 1. They pick an even more aggressive comp, get a similar sort of lead, and just crush Echo Fox there.
Yeah, I mean, they looked so good. The big lead for Echo Fox was in the bot lane this one, and they could not convert to anything. Keith was getting caught out. He was getting picked off quite a bit. He started very strong, but top lane was getting smashed by Impact. Mid lane, pretty even. The jungle was going towards contracts, and it just felt like Echo Fox a couple times overreached and got punished big time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw a little bit more control from them, which was good to see, where they saw the opportunity, made the play, and then didn't extend themselves too far. But you have to think of that one moment near Cloud9's base even, which you have to think, what are you even doing there trying to make a play? They get punished, Jensen gets a triple kill, and then it just feels like it's too far removed at that point. I mean, continually we saw Jace and Graves team up together to just pick people off from a screen away, and they had Jhin as well just for a bit of extra insurance or to start that all up. Like, it's tough as a almost full damage comp to win when you're behind, and especially when it gets later. But Cloud9 was so far ahead that comp's very easy to execute in that stage.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of long-range damage that they have, the Jhin ultimate plus the Rumble ult, that already creates so much chaos. Then if Jensen lands a Shock Blast combo, Graves throws out his ult, they're killing people from a whole screen away.
And I mean, we've seen comps like this fail for teams as well. These are much harder to play. Rumble has been a champion that seems like a sore point. A lot of top laners think that this is such a strong champion, one of the best champions you can have in top lane, but the ceiling on the champion's pretty high, and the floor's not that low either. So being able to play it effectively, you even mentioned it, Impact had a great lane, looked pretty good, and still wasn't making the equalizer look like that good of an ultimate.
And I mean, the one thing that is very important about having that Rumble is it gives you the diverse damage profile, right? Because you have a triple AD carry composition. That, in particular, makes it so easy to itemize against if there isn't the Rumble in the top lane. But this time they have a huge AP threat. You need to build MR as well.
Well, we mentioned it already. We actually are going to cover the post-game here. Let's have a look at Jensen's triple kill, where Echo Fox did kind of overextend in this play. So this part looks okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is after they had already won the fight at Dragon. They win a team fight, they get that, and then they push up way too much here. They're trying to take down Sneaky, and the reward was not worth the cost. Even if you get Sneaky there, triple over to Jensen, pretty rough.
Yeah, and like you said, they were firmly on Cloud9's side of the map, like almost trying to knock down an inhibitor turret without doing the business of taking the tier 2s. So Jensen just comes straight down from mid, cleans up a very easy kill, 3 kills for himself, and then that just catapults Jason to too much of a gold lead.
Yeah, once Jace is that far ahead, anytime you land a shock blast is pretty devastating. And we were able to see that, 24 minutes into the game, C9 pushing in, are able to take down a couple people here.
And this is their combo work.
Exactly, and you see the equalizer to start it out. You have the long-range engage from the Jhin, plus the Jace. This is the whole point of the composition, attacking your opponents before they can ever actually respond. And the big problem here for Echo Fox was they have their team that needs to be together with the tank, with Froggen zoning. Their whole team works well together as a 5-man squad, but they were not together. Froggen was not there, and Cloud9 has such an easy time of engaging, so they didn't really inspect for it.
And you can see Mountain Drake and 2 Infernals for Cloud9 there. Huge snowball as far as the goal difference goes. And then damage from everywhere. Like, Jensen's a standout here with almost 18,000, but everyone but Smoothie was doing significant damage and contributing to what was a very short game for Cloud9.
And this is what these full damage comps look like when they are successful. Everyone is contributing, everyone is a threat. It makes it very, very hard to answer, and that's why they become so compelling for the teams, because it seems like, hey, well, how can they actually answer us if any one of us can kill them all, right? But it doesn't always work like that. When you do fall behind, it can look pretty bad.
And that might make it tough to decide who our player of the game is. We don't have to make up our mind just yet, but I think Condrix and Jensen are both in the conversation here.
Yeah, I think certainly Sneaky has had a really good series for himself as well. I mean, most of Cloud9 looked very good in this series. As you pointed out after last game, it was more just about team shot calling, not being able to close out the first one very quickly. But this one, they were extremely decisive and looked about as good as you can.
Certainly looking good after the break. But after this break, we have a rematch between rivals TSM and Counterlogic Gaming. Before we go there, though, we have an update on the last Reggie and Hotshot bet.
I'm Hotshot GG from Counterlogic Gaming, and I'm here because I lost a bet. I lost the bet to Andy Din.
Today I'm here to watch Hotshot get a TSM tattoo on his face.
So the bet was whoever won in week 3.
The losing party would get the other team's logo on their face.
I'm not feeling great. I've kind of dreaded this day. I marked it on my calendar.
Oh my god, my cheeks hurt so much. I generally don't smile this much, so my cheeks are actually sore.
I can't see it. What the? No!
Oh,